As we continue in the book of Joshua, we find that the battles don't get easier, they get more difficult. You see, as the nations there in the land hear that Israel is moving more and more into the land, they begin forming alliances and coalitions. So much so that the Bible describes their armies as like the sand that's on the seashore. Israel is coming up against these huge armies that there is no way possible they could overcome. They are in danger of being wiped out. And yet, time after time after time, God intervenes on behalf of his people in the midst of these difficult situations. In Joshua chapter 10 and verse 12, the Bible tells us, "Then spoke Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord gave the Amorites over to the men of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still at Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the nation took vengeance on their enemies." It's kind of fascinating, the symbolism that is used here. First of all, the sun standing still and the moon standing still is captivating, God performing that kind of a miracle. But it's also interesting when you look back to Genesis and you see that God placed the sun and the moon as placeholders in the sky to guide his people through day and night. And now here we find the sun and the moon as Israel enters the land of Canaan. And then you fast forward through the Bible to the end of the Bible, to the book of Revelation. And guess what symbols show up again in the book of Revelation? As God's people prepare to enter the promised land of heaven, once again, God uses the sun and the moon as symbols of his power to give faith and courage to his people. All the way through Scripture, God uses the things in nature to point us to an all-powerful Creator who is with us, who will never leave us and will never forsake us, but who stands there assuring us of the promise that he has a promised land for each one of us, that he will bring us through to that moment, to that day when we will see him face to face. So in the midst of your trials and difficulties of this life, look up and see the sun, or at night look up and see the moon and be reminded that your God is with you and will never leave you.